you should be on the bottom and I should be on the top. Okay.
Folks, how we doing? Welcome to Good Works Tractors. You ever found yourself in one of these situations? We got ourselves in a bit of a pickle here, but we're gonna get our way out. We're gonna dig our way out of this. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? Just use the bucket. That's the easiest thing in the world. Just use your bucket and dig your way out of here. No problem at all. It's not like we didn't try that, folks, but we're gonna give it another shot in today's video, give you some tips as well to consider. And a lot of this stuff is, well, you got to plan for it ahead of time, right? So you need to have these tools or these products on hand ahead of time before you find yourself in a situation like this, so you have them there when you need them. But we do have a secret weapon here today that most of you don't have.
Oh, you're talking about me?
And so I got myself stuck yesterday in this creek, and it was coming down, not super hard, but it was raining, so it made this whole shoreline pretty slippery too. And you can see some other holes here where I was actually able to successfully dig my way out using the bucket, get back onto dry land. And so that gave me a little bit too much confidence, and I pushed the limits, went a little bit too far, but it's dried out a bit. So before I use the Summit tractor to save the deer, feels good saying that, we're gonna give it one more shot, see if I can get out of here with just the bucket. Now you may be wondering, what the heck are we doing in this kind of an area anyways? And basically, I was trying to shave down and trim down this shoreline, and then gonna do the same thing on the other one so we could traverse it with four-wheelers, with tractors, with whatever we wanted to get over there. I'm gonna put a food plot in, that's the plan anyways, and put a deer blind on a platform stand and everything else. So I wanted to make it easier to get across this creek. Maybe we'll end up putting in a culvert. That might be the better solution long term, but we got your Ranger 150 stuck here the other day too, didn't we?
Yeah, it was stuck pretty good too. There's like no way. Yeah.
How'd we get that out?
By the 570, I think. The 570, is it a 570? Yeah. And we, what's the word? Winched it out.
Yeah, we hooked up a winch to the backside. Yeah. Had you sitting in the cockpit going in reverse, right? And then I was winching it in and we got it out no problem. Yeah,
well, the first time it took a little bit, but then I tried again.
That bank over there is too steep, huh? Just kind of ran right into it?
Yeah, and I hit my face on the steering wheel, so.
You hit your face on it? You didn't tell me that.
Well, it hurt that bad.
Your face looks all right. It looks pretty good.
Usually does, yeah.
So anyway, let's see if we can get this thing unstuck. So you can see when you're watching the video, it is kind of a hard sandy bottom down there underneath all this muck. So we do have that going in our favor. Now I have a lot of other equipment here. You know, I've got the Summit tractor, I've got bigger tractors, I've got skid steers, I've got Rangers and four-wheelers and all that stuff, all sorts of things to hook up to this and try to pull it out. And I may try to drive right through. And that may be a complete colossal failure as well, but since we've got something right here, it gives you a little bit more confidence knowing you have some backup on hand. So we're giving it a shot to see if we can let this tractor get itself out of the hole. You can use your bucket one of two ways, right? You can curl all the way back and kind of push, or you can rock it all the way forward and kind of release it out that way, all while you're driving backwards. I did find it strange, and maybe I've just never noticed it before, but that, let's see, right front wheel was spinning way faster. Sometimes this left front was not spinning at all, even though I could have definitely used it spinning, and other times it spun slow. But take a look at these tires here. Now, these are the R4 industrial tires, the most common tread pattern that you see. They've kind of got that thick bar that's on there. You know, they wear well, and that's kind of where it ends for me. So they don't do well with traction, I don't think. Not in this kind of material, not in snow or ice, and they have a lot of challenges. So long life is good, right? You don't have to pay to replace them for longer than pretty much any other tire out there. But there's a lot of other tread patterns that are much better if you don't have to go on paved surfaces all the time, especially like dry pavement. Get yourself ag tires, get yourself, you know, the R1 ags, get yourself the R14s. Even turfs are better in things like like snow and packed snow and ice, that kind of thing. There's just more surface area making contact. But these things struggle, you know, and that's not the first time I've talked about that. They are just, you know, I don't know why they're so popular, to be honest with you, but they are. So the Summit tractor back there, they come standard with the R14 or that hybrid, which has been getting really popular with the VersaTurfs for like your subcompacts, your 1025s, your BXs, that kind of thing. And then the Goodyear Titan R14, which is a hybrid of your R1, your R3, and your R4, or your ag tire, your turf tire, and your R4. So kind of the best properties of all of those put into one tire there. A very nice option to consider. So while we got ourselves out of this mess today, we've been unsuccessful some other times. We got our gator stuck pretty good. That was a whole debacle. A lot of you guys saw that. My oldest boy, Owen, and I got our skid steer, which had the R4 style, the thick style of wheels on it, stuck in the woods 2 or 3 years ago as well. But I want to give you some tips. And again, a lot of this stuff is you got to think about ahead of time, but some of it you can do afterwards as well. But if you do get stuck and you can't get yourself out, there's some things you can do if you have the tools on hand or find a way to improvise. Well, I don't think I'm going to push my luck anymore today. Did pretty good there getting that out. Well, there I go, patting myself on the back. But, whew, that's some sloppy stuff right there. All right, so I jotted these things down, make sure I hopefully didn't forget any of them. And one thing that worked really well for us, kind of right out in the field with Owen and I in the skid steer, you know, we didn't have a bucket or forks or a grapple even on the front end of our skid steer when we got stuck. We had a mulcher head, and so that's not a very good tool to have on there if you're stuck and trying to get yourself unstuck. So we couldn't use the bucket or any attachment on there to really get any leverage to push our way backwards or even pull our way forward. So what we did is kind of use that mulcher head to lift our tires up off the ground and started sticking things down underneath there. We took sticks and branches, and if we had rocks or anything else, you want to just pile it up. So use that loader to get those, or to get some space underneath your wheels as much as you can, and start shoving stuff down underneath there so you can get some better traction, get it out from being in a hole, because on a tractor, especially if your axle is stuck and buried, that's a lot more resistance on there, a lot more trouble to try to push yourself or pull yourself out of. And that's all for mud. If you are in snow, you know, I've been stuck off the side of my driveway and had to use my truck to tow myself out. But if you're in snow, go off a you know, a ditch or something down in there, and you try to get yourself out, you can use sand, you know, gravel. Even if you have that oil dry stuff, they even list that as a product too. So it would take a lot of that kind of material, but the idea is to just get a gritty surface that's not buried down in there and give yourself some kind of traction to have resistance to push out against for that tire. Now, something that I bought a couple years ago, I think it wasn't long after getting stuck with the gator, was something off of Amazon. Well, it was a kit. You can get a high jack lift, but then you can also get these like skid planks or something, and they're just long plastic strips that kind of have some rough edges on them and that kind of thing, so you can lay them underneath or right behind a tire, and then your tire climbs up and grabs on that and kind of gets traction going off of that. And so when I got that kit in, mine came in all beat up from Amazon, so I just returned it and never ordered another one. I probably should get that though. They even make versions that you can roll up and like keep in the back of your car, so you get into an emergency situation, you can lay those things down behind your tires and hopefully you get yourself unstuck. The high jack lift is good for a situation where you don't have a loader or any other way to jack up that tire to get something underneath there, whether that is one of those kind of skid strips or if it's sticks or anything else you want to put underneath there. If you can get it lifted up and out of there, wish we would have had that for the gator when we got it stuck down by the lake. That would have been super handy to have. It took us, well, Chris was there, what did it take us, 2.5 days? It took us 3 attempts. That was not a lot of fun. Folks, we are proud to be sponsored by Rimguard Solutions, a ballast weight solution for your tractor. You know I'm all about safety, and this is just a perfect match. Liquid ballast is one of the most cost-effective solutions. In fact, there's liquid ballast on this tractor right now, right inside these rear tires. So it's hidden, it's out of the way. It gives you that extra stability you need when you're using the front end loader. It gives you safety to keep those rear wheels planted on the ground, and it gives you traction when you need it. Well, why Rimguard? It is a natural product that is going to be safe around animals and livestock in case you get a puncture and it leaks out. That means it's also going to be safe on your wheels as well. You know, the old calcium chloride that'll rust those things out and ruin them. It is also the heaviest natural ballast weight on the market today, and the most convenient, which is available at over 1,000 dealers nationwide. So head on over to rimguardsolutions.com to find a dealer near you. Now, a winch is of course another obvious one that you can use, and can be successful. So we used it here the other day, getting Luke's small Ranger out with the four-wheeler, kind of hooked it up and just backed up, and he was in there going reverse, and we got it out no problem at all. We had an opposite experience using the winch when we tried to get the gator out a couple of years ago, and we were using pulleys and everything else to try to double up and get more pulling power on there, and just nothing was working. We ended up snapping our cable right off. We're really disappointed in the effectiveness of the winch, and that works for certain situations. You know, if you can get directly behind something and winch to it and pull it back out, that's a pretty awesome application if you can get set up like that. But for us, we were buried down sideways in the dirt, way down a hill, couldn't get close to anything, had trees to winch off and pull you off to way up a ways away in different angles and everything else, and it did not work well for us. The other thing that always concerns me, always in the back of my mind, and on the steel winch cables, and even synthetic ones, is that if something gives, something snaps and breaks, it can come whipping back at you and cause serious injury or death, and that's no joke at all. And so you'll see even in that gator video, we had weight bags that you can hang over top of the line. So if it does snap, and when it does snap, it's going to just kind of drop it down to the ground and take that recoil out of there, prevent it from kind of whipping back and that whiplash effect. Another one some of you might have on hand is going to be a come along, and you'll see those used maybe to get things up on a trailer. Logging guys use them if you're trying to get a tree to lean a certain direction when you're cutting it down, and that can be a cheaper way and maybe a slow way, and not maybe it's not the be-all end-all, but it's an option to consider if you do have that in your tool bag, so to speak, is use it come along, tie it off to a tree somewhere, and at least get a second set of hands kind of wrenching that thing and then driving the tractor, the machine backwards or forwards, whatever direction you need to go, and see if that works for you. So I posted this on Facebook and on YouTube. I thought it was pretty funny getting it stuck here. Had a lot of good feedback on there as well. One tip, I'm not sure if I would do it or not, but I guess it would be a last resort if it came to that, was lowering down the tire pressure really far, right? So, and you could potentially get more grip doing it that way. Like I say, that would be something I would probably put way down on the list of ideas to try. And if you were completely desperate, maybe in the way back country and there's super isolated, nothing else to do, you know, and you had to get unstuck. I don't know what you're going to do though after you get unstuck and drive around with super almost flat tires or not, if that's going to do you any good. But it was an idea that was thrown out there, probably very situation dependent. Now another one to consider, and I've seen this done a couple times, I think you got to get it just right though, is to get some sort of like a ratchet strap and like a 2x4 or some other similarly shaped, really hard piece of material that you strap to the tread pattern on your tire, right? And you want to size that just right. In my opinion, you don't want to, if that does start spinning around there, you know, the idea is to give extra traction, to really grip and pull, but you don't want to whack up your fender area and everything else and cause a whole bunch more damage. So you got to use that with some real caution there, seeing if you can get that fit just right. But I've seen some videos of that working successfully, but again, it comes with some other dangers. And if all else fails, you know, if you have another machine, great. Put that thing to work and make your life easier. Or if you have a neighbor down the road, ask them to come over. That can oftentimes be the simplest solution if you have that as your disposal. I mean, that's why I brought it down here, right? I wasn't 100% confident I would get my way out right here, and maybe I could have yesterday if I would have messed around with a little bit more, but I was getting, well, the first couple of times took a while to get out, and you can see there, I don't know, what did it take, 7 minutes, something like that. It wasn't terrible, but I think it was just at the end of a long day, and I was kind of over it. So anyway, got back out there today. We got this taken care of, had the extra machine as backup, but it pays to plan ahead, right? And that's a lot of what this channel is about, is well, you know, you can tell somebody 1,000 times, right? But until you get stuck in that situation, you know, it's coulda, woulda, shoulda. So hopefully this helps some of you out, but it's kind of the same thing with ballast weight, right? You want to have that on the backside too. That's not one of those coulda, woulda, shoulda done that kind of things. You want to think about that kind of thing ahead of time too. If you got something in your front end loader, whether it's in the bucket, the grapple, pallet forks, if you're lifting it up, it's kind of like teeter-totter, so have that ballast weight in the backside, rim guard in your tires, all that kind of stuff. We're all about safety here too. So anyway, folks, back to the drawing board. I don't know, should I go a bigger machine like a skid steer or my big Kubota? Try to get through that muck and shave out the other side, or should I just get a culvert, put it down there, and throw some sand and rock around it? I gotta make a decision soon because I want to get that food plot planted, but that's for another video. Or if you got something better, leave those ideas down below. Now, if you're looking for something for your tractor for the front end loader or the 3-point hitch, well, we sell tractor attachments. We ship them all over the country. We'd love to earn your business. Give us a shot. Check out goodworkstractors.com. If If you enjoy seeing tractor videos, kind of projects, stuck stuff, whatever comes up, then hit that subscribe button, completely free, no obligation. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to stop by, and until next time, stay safe. We'll see you soon.